Hello everyone and welcome back to another video where I give you my thoughts on some games I played in this month of August. Played 18 games this month. I was on vacation a lot, so I played a bunch of games on the tablet. I also played a bunch of games with my kids and my friends' kids. But I still played also some really nice advanced and expert games. Let's start right away with Crisis. So Crisis is a game from 2016 that a friend bought a while back, and we never tested it, but we tested it, and it was really good. So Crisis is a worker placement game where you are actually, well, you're placing workers, but then you will get buildings, and then you're gonna hire a different kind of workers that are gonna work in your buildings, which is super fun actually. And then there's resource management and so on. But the funny thing about this is that you are like an entrepreneur in a society, but the society is in crisis. So there is some way that everybody can actually lose. So what you're gonna do is every year there will be a goal to reach, a victory point mark where that you need to reach. So for example, here it's 18. That's what you can see here. And at the end of the year, we're going to compare this with everybody else. And then based on that, the society is going to evolve. So here, for example, 3 of the players were in negative and 1 was in positive. So we have like +3, but then we have -4, -5, -6. So in total, we lose like 10 points. And so there is a global marker here, and it would go down by 10 points. And this is very important because at some point, if you are not careful and you're like planning too far ahead and not scoring any points right away, you can lose the game right away, and then you're eliminated. So if this goes down at the bottom and you're below that mark at the end of that run, you're eliminated. And only the people that are above it will actually be able to score and see who is first. So the game plays over I don't know how many rounds, I think 7, but it could end after 4 rounds, for example, which is kind of funny. And there's a card where you can control the difficulty of the game. So we kind of played in a easy / medium difficulty because we took the wrong card. It was really cool concept. I really liked it. It was really fun. And then there's worker placement, which I always like. And then you take those buildings, you hire those other workers, and they can then produce resources and so on. Very typical. You do contracts and stuff. It's very typical, but this and the fact that you get your own buildings and then you get your own special workers that then are going to work in your factories, that was pretty cool. I liked it. That was Crisis. I rate this an 8. Then I played Summoner Wars 2nd edition. So Summoner Wars is a card battling system, kind of chess-like. Everybody has a champion, and if that champion is killed, you win the game. So, well, the other player wins the game, of course. And then the funny thing is everybody has a different deck. So every faction plays a little bit differently. And we played 2 games of that. It was kind of fun. I played like the Paladins. They had a lot of healing going on. And my friend played, I don't know, the Night Elves or whatever they were called. They had a lot of range combat going on and like an energy system where they are getting energy on them and they're doing something special with that. So either they gain more health or they can do a second attack, which was super strong. He wrecked me the first game, and the second game I managed to push with all my army, and then he got like back to the wall, and it was a win for me. It was pretty cool. There are 6 factions in this base box of the 2nd edition, which I'm really eager to try out more. I really liked it. That's Summoner Wars 2nd edition. I also rate this an 8. Then I played some more Fantasy Realms. So Fantasy Realms is a very fast game. You play this in 20 minutes. It's a game where you have 7 cards in hand, and every turn you do one thing. You draw a card, and you discard a card. Or you take a card from the tableau that was already discarded in the past, and you discard a card. That's all you do. And then all your cards, they can combo off each other, and you try to get the most points. Super fast, super fun. And actually, I played this with my son, which was good. We just removed like 3 Joker cards because they're kind of complicated. But then he managed. It was cool. He scored even some games really high points. It's of course luck driven, and sometimes you just get like completely different cards, and you're like, what am I supposed to do with that? But it's fun because in 15 minutes you've done and then you play again if you had a bad game. So that's pretty cool. It's actually become one of my favorite games. I had a friend borrowed it. I had it borrowed from a friend. Played it, I don't know how many times, 16 times over the vacation. And then I ordered it for myself. So I really, really liked it. And they're going to do a Marvel version of it, which I heard was really good. So I'm also looking forward to that. So that's Fantasy Realms. I give this a 9. Then I played Everdell. I haven't played Everdell for a while. I really like Everdell, and the reason I played Everdell is because, yeah, vacation, and they just released a version on the tablet, and that was great. So Everdell is a worker placement tableau building game. So you're placing workers, and there are like those worker spots where you can get resource and so on. And then there's tableau building. So you have cards in hand, and you can play them with your resource. Sounds very simple, but then there's a trick, is that there are two types of cards. There are buildings and there are animals. And each building has like a linked animal. So if you have that building, you get that linked animal for free. You don't have to pay the cost. And this is super cool. And then all the cards do different things. There are a bunch of different cards. It's really fun. I really like it. And the bots are pretty cool. It's quite a good challenge. So I really enjoy this game. It's really fun. And it looks really nice. The app is really well done, really looking. I can really recommend this as an app. There are some apps that are terrible, but this app is really good. So if you like Everdell, or if you ever heard of it, you're like, oh, I don't know. The app is there now. It's a good way to try it. There are very good opponents there. I really liked it. I'm happy that they brought out an app for that. So that's Everdell, and I give this a 9. It's also one of my favorite games. And then we played a game of Anno 1800. So Anno 1800, maybe you know the video game. So it's originally a video game where you're gonna build out like a huge map and a city on. Well, there are a bunch of islands, and you're on your island, and then you build your city and you expand, you trade resources. Really cool video game, and I made a board game of it. I was intrigued because I really love the video games. So I was like, wow, okay, maybe. And then it's by Martin Wallace, which is really good. So yeah. Try that. We played it. I already played it in the past. So how does it work? It's a resource management game without resources, which is awesome. So basically, what you're going to do, you have a bunch of buildings that you can see here. Maybe I can make this bigger. Yeah. So you have this is a player board. So he has a bunch of buildings here where you can get resources. How do you get those? You just put a worker of that type. For example, if he needs like a wood, he goes with one green worker here. If he needs a brick, he goes with one red worker here. There are a certain number of spots available, and then he can get something else. What does he get? Well, there's a huge board of stuff here that you can get. And then you get more and more and more diversified resource. And how does the game play? It's you have those cards, and those cards are always demands from your citizens. And those demands will grant you victory points and some bonus. And how does the game end? Well, when one player has no more cards, the game is over. So it's kind of, you don't know exactly when it's going to end, but you can kind of feel it. And then this is one example card. So he wants this iron and then rum, and you can play this card, and you get this bonus. You can also trade with others. I think there is something to nerf here because the trading. So if somebody goes into great effort to actually get a very expensive resource production, you can just get it and he just gets 1 gold, which is pretty weak. So maybe there's something to change there. I think they're talking about this. But that's how it works, and that's how you exchange. You need boats for well, it's not really combat, but it's like exploration, and then you need boats for trading. And it just works with that. Those tiles, and then your cards, and that's all. You have like the gold as resource where you can just use to get free some cubes back. So if your cubes are all on your board and you want to get one back to reuse it, you can play gold. Otherwise, if you're done, you're like, oh, okay, I can't do anything anymore. You just get all your guys back, and you just skip your turn in that case. Because how the game plays is just I play one action, you play one action, you play one action, I play one action, you. And it just goes like this forever. It's cool because you're always engaged, I feel. I really like this. You need planning, you need to check what cards you have, you see, and then there are also some objectives that we see here that also gives you like a direction to go on. I really like it. It's a fun game. Where you have like 40 different resources, but in the end there are no resource markers. It's just like your workers. And it's pretty well done. That's Anno 1800, and I gave this also an 8. Then we played Barrage. I played this a second time. So Barrage is a very mean game uh, because it's a very hard game. So what you're doing in Barrage is that you're gonna build barrage, I don't know how you say that in English, like a dam to generate electricity. So you need dams, then you need an electricity central, and you need a turbine, and then with all that you're generating electricity. That's the goal of the game. The thing is, and that's the whole trick about this game, there are those water drops, and they just drop until they reach a barrage. And when you reach a barrage, and the drop is used, it's not going to flow the normal way. It might flow through, for example, here it might flow through this turbine. Let me zoom in here, maybe you can see it better. So the water is going to come from here, and then it goes down to here, and then stop there. And then I can use it to produce energy. And I go down, and it will end up here, and then it's going to continue flow down here instead of flowing the normal direction here. And this is pretty cool. I think this is a prototype version from what I see of the image. This game is pretty cool. It's a worker placement game where you have a bunch of spots where you can go to get material. There's also this wheel, this action wheel. So every action you need, you're going to spend your resource, put it on your wheel. Your resources are never gone, but they're like used for the time until it's back. And there's some action to move the wheel, or every time you build the next thing, the wheel moves one further. You can get special tiles. You have a special unique power. Really complex game. We played, it was very long. We played 4 hours, I think, with 3 players. This was very long, but it's really fun and really a thinky game. I liked it. That's Barrage, and I give this also an 8. Played the Isle of Cats with my wife and a friend of mine. It was cool. I liked it. I always liked it. I always loved Isle of Cats. I won again. Good for me. And I don't know. I just love this game. It's still one of my favorite games in the top 5. I think it was dethroned as top 1 lately because I played too many games of Marvel Champions, which I love more and more and more over time. But well, it's still a fantastic game, and you can play it up to 6 players. The time you play it is not going to go that much higher with 6 players. I think with 3 we played like 1 hour 20, 1 hour 30 maybe. I don't remember exactly, but it's an awesome game. Isle of Cats. And if you have shorter time, you can play Isle of Cats Explore and Draw, which is the roll and write version. So instead of tile, you don't have the draft portion. You just pick what row you want and you draw on your board. It's really cool. I like this as well. And what's actually cool about this is that there are some special powers and there are some and everybody can basically has access to the same. So there's no, oh no, you had a better draw. No, there's no draw. It's just choosing. So that's really cool. There's zero but the bad thing is there's 0 interaction here. But as a roll and write, I love it. Well, roll and write usually have 0 interaction anyway, so I really like it. That's Isle of Cats Explore and Draw. Then we played some Just One. It's funny, I even played this with the kids. And the funny thing is when you play with kids, you're kind of, do you know this word? No? Do you know this word? Yes? Do you think he knows this word? Maybe. So that's funny because like, oh, wait, there was my boy and his friend and me. And then we're like, okay, he says, oh yeah, I want word number 4. And I'm like, I don't think he ever heard that word. Maybe it was like something from a Disney or something, and he never watched that Disney. So I'm like, okay, let's pick another one. And that was funny because we had to kind of guess if they actually know it. And then we played Just One, just saying the word. And I was actually playing like a guessing game of what do I think they're gonna put down, which is the most obvious one usually. And then I have to find something else so that it helps it. And it was good. It was fun. We also played a little bit with adults, which was also cool. But yeah, Just One is, I don't like party games, but that's one of the best ones, in my opinion. So if you like party games, you should really try it out. And it's fast as well. That's pretty cool. Then I played Charterstone. Well, I didn't give this a rating. The reason is, I'm not sure I understand the game. I played 3 games again on the tablet because I had the app on the tablet and it was easy and I was on vacation. I didn't have so many board games with me. So you're kind of building your village, but then your opponents are also building their village and then you're using stuff. But the thing is a campaign game, so my village is getting bigger, but I really don't understand how you win or lose. It's kind of weird. At some point in one game I was like, yeah, I had like some sort of combo and I was doing that over and over again and I won that game. But then the next game, I don't know. I think I have to get the rules right because I don't think I have the rules right. And I don't understand everything. So I don't give this a rating yet. I have to first get a rule video and then maybe try it out again because it was a little bit weird. It was a little bit weird. It's a worker placement game, but then that evolves. I never played a game like this. But it was very interesting. So to be continued, let's say. I don't know when, but to be continued. I played some Regicide. It's a cool, fast game. It says 10 to 30 minutes, probably 10 minutes if you play it on the app. But it can be played with just a normal deck of cards, which is pretty cool. And it's a battling system where you are fighting the four jacks, then the 4 queens, then the 4 kings, and the cards have all different powers, and you need the number to kill them based on the health they have. And the logic is very simple, but it's tricky. You're like, oh, if I combine this, but then I have to be careful. If I get this jack, then it cancels my power next turn, and I'm screwed. And anyway, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it. That's a Regicide. It's a solo game. We played Mini Rogue with my boy. Yeah, I was kind of done with the game because we played it so much that I felt it's too easy in the end. But he wanted to play it, so we played one game. So Mini Rogue is a game where it's a mini dungeon crawler, let's call it, where everybody has a character and then you go through a dungeon of 9 cards, and this is like a layer, and you start here, so you play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and then at the end of each level there is a boss. So there are 4 bosses that are here. So what you're going to do is you're going to go here, trigger the card, do whatever it says, go here or here, and then there might be a boss, might be a monster, might be a trap, might be a merchant, or might be a treasure, and you decide where you go. And if I go here, then I will reveal this card and this card, and I move down until I go to that room. Then I go down and I shuffle the cards again, put it again. So what's cool is the monsters, for example, every time you go a level deeper, well, they get stronger and stronger, and you get stronger and stronger. You get dice, you get more dice, you get more health. You can get potions, like freezing potion, flame potions. You can get shield and so on. And there are like 4 different characters with special powers. Don't think they're well balanced, but it's a cool game. It's a small box game, and it's fun to take out from time to time. So that's Mini Rogue, and I rate this a 7. We played Paper Dungeons. It's a roll and write game. It's a cool game where you're going to explore and try to fight the monsters. So what you're going to do is they're going to be dice rolls. They are in 2 colors and there are some symbols on there. You have your 4 classes, like you have your knight, your mage, your healer, and your rogue. And then you can level them up. And this is your total strength, basically. Then you have some objects that you can build. Also with the dice, you can get some healing potions because you will get damage. And then you can walk around here. And how do you do that? You start somewhere. So for example, he started here. He went up. And then boom, there's a monster. And that monster needs a level 3 mage to be destroyed. The monster is always getting destroyed. But if you don't have the level 3 mage, you will get some damage. So for example, if I have just a level 1 mage, I will take 2 damage directly because there is a 2 difference. Then if I move there, but I will get that bonus, so 2 potions which are here, which are basically additional health, and I mark that I killed 1 monster. The more monster you kill, the more points you get. The more gems you collect, so the gems are here and here and here, the more points and bonuses you get. And then there's a boss at the end of 3 rows and then 3 rows and then 2 rows, there is a boss. And the boss are like cards. They have a certain number of health, and you need a certain number of damage to defeat them. And then the more you have, the more bonus you get, the less damage you get. And if you do the most damage from all the party, well, you get an extra bonus. And it's a cool game because so you walk around, you kind of try to explore, and you're gonna get stronger and stronger and stronger. You decide which items you want, and there are some walls that are pre-printed and some water, and then there are some walls that you always draw at the start of the game in addition. So this makes this a little bit different every time. So that's pretty cool. I like this. It's paper dungeons. Again, my boy wanted to play it. We haven't played in a while. Rate is a 7. I played some more Root on the app. I kind of still hate the stupid, what was it, not rabbits, what are they, the small, I don't know, the green faction. I hate them. In Root, you win once you reach 30 points. The birds, they have like they get few points at the beginning, but then they expand, and they get more and more and more points. But they might break, and if they break, they basically lose a bunch of their points, and then it continues to go on. The cats, so the orange ones, they are steady, getting more and more and more points. Then you have the single guy, the vagabond, which is weird. I don't see how he can win if others are playing properly. And then you have the mouse or whatever it is. I hate them because they are doing weird things with cards. And at some point in one round, again, you have to have 30 points. They made 18 points in one round. And I was like, what the I mean, it was weird. I didn't like that game at all because I felt like, yeah, it's good, it's rolling, and I was competing with, I think I was the mouse, I was competing with the birds, and I was like, let's see how it goes. And then out of nowhere, he just won, and I'm like, okay. And I didn't see how I could have done anything against him because they're putting like their troops everywhere, and then they're converting their troops. But if you attack their troops, it doesn't bring you any points. It's just slowing them down, but then the other guy might win. So it's kind of weird. And the combat against the mouse, again, you roll dice. So you roll 2 dice. They always get the highest number. Normally, it's the attacker that gets the highest number. But if you're unlucky, again, you can attack with 5 guys, and in the end, you lose against 2 mouses because bad luck. So I don't really like that. But overall, it's a cool game. That's Root. I rate this an 8, but I hate the mouse. Marvel Champions. Okay, so we played Marvel Champions again, and we made some very, very strong decks. So my boy plays Ant-Man Aggression, which is super strong, and he's getting stronger and stronger over time. And I'm playing Rocket Raccoon with yellow. What is that? I don't know. I don't know the name of yellow cards. So I control basically all the schemes they're doing. This combo works out really strong and really well. And we played against against 2 enemies which were quite strong with a very strong module. We played against Modok. If you people know it, it's really hard. And then we played in Expert, and then we played in Level 2 and 3. So really hard. And we won both the game. At one point we could have lost if the guy drew a special card and we would have lost, but we won both games, so this was really cool. I really like those decks. First I tried with another deck that I made, but it didn't work at all, and we got crushed so hard. But with those 2 decks, it's really fun, because what I love about Marvel, you can play a very basic deck. You can buy a pack and play with the deck, and you just build an enemy that is, well, adapted to it. And then you can play and you have fun. But then you can also play with an enemy that is super strong, but then you can make super strong decks as well. So it's kind of cool, and this is what I love about Marvel. Every time we get like the new box, we have one new box to test with all the Spider-Man stuff, and we just play the guys from the box, and we play those, and then we play the standard enemies, and usually it works out. The balancing is pretty cool, and we don't have to make super strong decks. Usually, sometimes we have, but that's what's so cool about Marvel. And there are so many different heroes. I'm still waiting for 5 new to come, or I don't remember how many. It's so good. It's a money thing, but it's so good. Well, it's a money thing. Comparison to Magic, it's nothing. So yeah, Marvel Champions, and it's my favorite game nowadays. It's just the best game. That is, in my opinion. That's Marvel Champions. We played some Draftosaurus, a small drafting game with dinosaurs where you fill up your park. You can play that starting with very small children, so that's how it looks. You just put your dinosaurs, and then you kind of try to make different regions have different dinosaurs you can put in and how do you can put them in. It's kind of cool. I like it. I rate this. I have no idea. I'll rate this. I rate this 7. Yeah, maybe that's high, but yeah, it's okay. It's for kids game. It's cool. Then we played Trickerion. And we played with the expansion the Dull Guards Academy. So Trickerion is a very good game of preparing your spells, getting the material, and then performing your spells on stage. It's like David Copperfield kind of magic, not real magic. And then the cool thing about the expansion we played in, there are several things. So first thing, I don't know if I can zoom in a little bit. So there's this extra board, and then there's 2 things. First thing, you can teach. So you can put a spell on a teaching spot, and you cannot perform this spell anymore because you teach it, so everybody knows it basically, and so it doesn't make sense to perform it. On the other side, you can put bonuses on your spells. So for example, I do a spell, and every time I get the spell, I get 1 extra victory point every time I do it. So it opens up different possibilities. And then there are these rooms that you can open, and they will grant you victory points if you open them. You just pay money and you open them. Then there is an extra assistant, which is, I don't have a special name, the protege or something like that. And he can get special powers. Okay, so that's basically what this expansion brings. What I liked the two different types of spell changes that you can do, getting more stuff, or basically teaching them so they are automatically triggering at the end of the round without you having to do nothing. I like those 2 things. The protege I didn't like because you have 1 more workers from the start. It slows down the game a lot because each protege can have a different skill and different possibilities. You can get 3 different skills. If you get some that combine together, it can be overpowered. We had 1 guy that has a skill that can copy any other skill, so he was always looking everywhere around. It was taking a lot of time. We've played way too much time, I think more than 4 hours, and it shouldn't be a 4-hour game. And then the thing I hate about this game is that basically there are those rooms that you can open, and those rooms give you a certain number of victory. Oh yeah, there's also every time you open a room, you get a certain number of markers here, and the one that has the most markers at the end will get a certain number of victory points. So it's a majority thing. Now, what you have to know about Trickerion is if you're first in victory points, you are last in turn order. That's how it works. So in the end, there is, I think we played 7 rounds, and in round 6, there are the last 2 rooms that open. And those 2 rooms, they give you tons of points. They give you 10 points. You have to pay 10 coins, and you get 10 victory points, which is huge. And they also give you the final majority markers, so you might gain also the majority. So what ended up happening, I was on front the whole game. And I felt I played really nicely. I used my magician really nicely. It was actually linked with the teaching, so I could teach extra spells. I really used that a lot, and I felt like I played really well. And then we ended up in round 6, and then, well, you can get those 2 rooms. Last player opened 1 room because it gives them tons of points, basically 10 coins for 10 points, and then he got the majorities, which was another 5 points. So you got like 15 points, just like that. The second player didn't have the money or didn't want to do it, I don't remember. So what's gonna happen is that the one that was in second place, just behind me, he just could do it and got like those plus 15 points. And in the end, he ended up winning the game by like 5 points. And that's, well, it's a catch-up mechanism, but it's really overpowered. I didn't like it at all because I feel like I should have won this game, and it's kind of pissed me off because I feel like I really played really nicely. But yeah, it is how it is. I feel overall there are some parts I like, some parts I don't like, but it's dragging the game too long. And we played with this expansion, plus there's another expansion where you get like you can use your crystals so that you get additional spells, which I really liked, but combining everything together is just way too long. I would not recommend playing this with different expansions, really just too long. And this one drags the game. Well, if you have like 4 or 5 hours and you're good with that, okay, just do that. But otherwise, if you want to play it in, I don't know, 3 hours, you should not play with this expansion. So that's Trickerion Dalgard's Academy. I don't know if I rated Dalgard's Academy. Yeah, I rate this. Yeah, I'm not gonna rate this at 8. I rate this a 7. I don't know how I rate actually Trickerion. Probably 9. Yeah, probably 9. Trickerion is really good, but the Dalgard Academy was, yeah, too long. It's dragging the game too. It's just taking too long. Okay, so that was that. Yeah, that's all I played. Looking forward for next month. Soon is going to be the Essen Spiele show. That's going to be really great. We're going to go one day. We have some crazy friends that go 4 days. They're crazy, crazy. But yeah, I hope everybody's going to have fun. We have pre-ordered already like 5 games, I think. So there's some more new stuff to come, which is going to be nice. So I wish you all a nice month of September and see you again next month. Bye bye.